Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Insane Worlds. 5. Fredegond. Fredegond of Neustria began her life as a slave in the early 500s. She was ruthless in her ability to social climb though. By her early 20s, she'd become a lover and then a wife to Chilperic, the king of Francia. As queen, she regularly assassinated court members who got in her way. She was interested in keeping Chilperic installed on the throne, and then paving the way for her son to assume the job when her husband died. To clear this path, Fredegond had to be vicious. At one point in the late 500s, Chilperic was at war with his brother Sigebert. Fredegond hatched a plan to have assassins murder Sigebert with poisoned axes. The brutal assassination kept Chilperic in power and kept Fredegond in her esteemed role as the king's right-hand woman. Later, after dysentery killed two of Chilperic's sons from his first marriage, Fredegond took action once more. 4. Ranavalona. Ranavalona was the queen of Madagascar when her husband unexpectedly died in 1828. Like in most kingdoms on this list, a female ruler was something of a rarity in Madagascar. Ranavalona knew that too, so she had to do one thing to maintain power: kill all of her enemies. So Ranavalona did that in weeks after rising to power. Then she changed the outward face of Madagascar forever. During her 33 years on the throne, she isolated the island and ceased much of its trade and goodwill exchanges with African peoples to the west. When critics got mad at her isolationist ways, she had them show their obedience and loyalty. How she did this was brutal in its own right. Number 3. Teuta. It took Rome 23 years to defeat Carthage in the First Punic War, fought across more than 2 decades of the 3rd century BC. The war was a massive battle for control of the Mediterranean. When Rome came away victorious, they gained full control of Sicily and established themselves without question as the world's most impressive power. So they were undoubtedly the rulers of the entire Mediterranean then, right? Well, not quite. Teuta, the pirate queen of a breakaway land called Illyria, hadn't surrendered to the Romans. Her people were still fighting viciously over in the Balkans, and they hadn't given up to the world's largest military outfit yet. At the time, Illyria was a thriving city of our-day people on the Balkan Peninsula. Teuta had been the queen regent of the tribe alongside her husband, King Agron, but Agron had been in the Adriatic Sea, winning battles and conquering other smaller kingdoms for some time. When he returned home, he partied so hard in celebration that he died abruptly. Yes, really? That's a whole story unto itself. Anyway, with Agron dead, Teuta took over in Illyria, and she was pissed at the aggressive and more powerful Romans. Number 2. Isabella of France. Isabella of France was married off to England's Edward II in 1308 when she was just 12 years old. The two had 4 children together as Edward reigned, but all wasn't good at home. The ruler had a male favorite named Hugh Despenser the Younger, and he was turning the king quickly against Isabella. She apparently couldn't stand Hugh either and was determined to do something about his presence in Edward's life. But then a shocker: in 1324, Edward declared war on Isabella's brother, Charles IV of France. During the battle, Isabella's own husband confiscated her lands and possessions just to ensure she wouldn't show loyalty to her brother. In time, though, her presence became very important. Isabella was the one who negotiated peace between Edward and Charles. She also had her son Edward III swear loyalty to Charles, producing an unlikely alliance between the French and English. By that point, Isabella was ready to return to England once more. Number 1. Grace O'Malley. If you thought Teuta of Illyria was a badass pirate queen, wait until you learn about Grace O'Malley, the 16th century Irish clan leader technically known as Grain Malley. In her own dialect, was a red-headed Irish warlord who backed down from no challenge. For decades, she fought to keep the English from invading Ireland. Grace came of age just after Henry VIII abruptly declared himself King of Ireland. The English were moving quickly onto the island, and the Irish didn't care for it. Grace's father was the lord of the O'Malley dynasty. That crew had been a successful seafaring bunch on Ireland's west coast for centuries, so it was only natural for Grace to take to the ocean herself. From an early age, she was on ships with her father. The first time she asked to accompany him on an expedition to Spain, he joked that her hair would catch and tangle in the ship's rigging. Not surprisingly, she acted on the concern. Grace cut off her hair and forced her father to let her go on the trip. She proved to be a great sailor, and she also got a nickname out of the deal. Forever after, she was known as Grace the Bald. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.